Hello, my name is Jennifer Bowers. I am the author of the Numero Uno trilogy of books. Numero Uno and the Sidekick Search, Numero Uno and the Ecological Enigma, and Numero Uno and the Devastating Disasters. I have also written Swamp Thing Will Triumph and 365 Days to Creativity. I wanted to put a little video together about myself as an author. I am mainly a children's book author, so I thought what better way to get some more information than to ask some of my students to formulate some questions for me. So I'm going to answer some of those today. One of the questions a lot of students asked was what made me want to be an author. As a child, I always loved reading books. There were some days I would rather sit in my room all day by myself and read a book rather than play with friends. Not always, but sometimes. As I started to teach, I noticed, and I teach gifted education for the most part. I have for the last over 20 years. And I noticed that there were not a lot of books out there, fictional books for kids about being gifted and some dealing with some of the things that go along with being gifted. So that was kind of a spark for me. I got my first taste of writing when my husband was sick, and I kept up a blog to keep people informed about what we were going through. And I really liked being able to get the information out there to people, kind of play around with what I was saying and to hear people's reactions. So that was kind of my first taste of it as well. Another question some students asked was, what is it like to be an author? I for the most part, I really enjoy it. I hope that the people who read the books get a lot of enjoyment out of it. I hope they learn a little something about themselves and from the books. It's also a little bit scary because I worry about, will people like it? Will people read it? Will they buy it? Things like that. Another question that was asked was why I wanted to be an author. I guess at a certain point in your life, you get to an age and you kind of think about your legacy. What are you going to leave behind? And I wanted to be able to put something out into the world that was positive for people. So that's my why. Will I make more books? Yes, I do have many ideas about making future books, so be on the lookout for those. How do I have the time to write books when I'm teaching full time? I have always been, or I should say in my adult life, I have always been really good at multitasking. Being a teacher, I also have a lot of side jobs that I've done, raising 3 kids, mostly by myself, since my husband died when my kids were little. So I'm just used to doing a lot of things at the same time. I'm also good at scheduling myself, so I can kind of make sure I have to get these things done, and then I can set aside a certain amount of time or a certain time period where I dedicate just to writing. Luckily for me, I have some longer chunks of time, breaks from school that I can do that in. Is it fun? Yes, it is a lot of fun, also a lot of hard work. I think my major struggle myself is the marketing because I am a self-published author. So, the writing in and of itself, there was a big learning curve there. I watched a lot of YouTube videos and looked at a lot of websites about the process of how to actually go about not so much writing the book, but putting the book together. But there's a lot of other things that go along with it as well. Websites, and I join a lot of clubs and things like that. I'm in the Atlanta Writers Club, Facebook groups and things like that, that I can kind of bounce ideas and things like that off of other people and make some connections. One question that was written was, how do I handle criticism? Luckily, I haven't had to deal with that too much yet. I think I'll probably, depending on the criticism, how it's delivered, it could be, I might be really receptive to it. Maybe the person has a really good point and I could, take that into account. But it might sting a little bit too, I gotta be honest. Another question was, if I can be anything else, what would it be? I think probably my thing I would love to do most if I was independently wealthy and didn't have to earn a paycheck, I would love to be doing some volunteer work. That would really be what I would like to do the most. What am I most proud of? The book I'm most proud of is probably the first book. This one, Numero Uno and the Sidekick Search. For a couple of reasons. I originally had the idea many, many years ago when I first started teaching at my current school in early 2000s. But, life kind of happened and I got really, really busy. And so the idea was in my head for a very long time to finally get the book done. To be able to work with my daughter as the illustrator was very special. So that's probably the one that I'm most proud of. Does writing books give me a new perspective on the world and other things? Definitely it does. I have to put myself into the different mindsets of the different characters. And I also have learned a lot of things along the way. Some of the characters in the Numero Uno books, one is really into science, ecology, things like that. And other characters into computer science. That is really not my thing, so I had to do some research for that. So yes, definitely it does give me new perspectives. Where did we get the buggy bubble symbol from? My daughter is named Abby, but her nickname growing up was Abby Doodlebuggy. So she's like the bug part of Buggy Bubbles. And when I was working at daycare, we had CB radio names when we would travel around in the vans for day camp, and my radio name was Bubbles. So we decided to put it together and make Buggy Bubbles. So my daughter came up with the ladybug symbol with the little bubbles. So that's where we got that from. What is my goal in writing? My goal is really I hope people enjoy it. I hope they learn something from it. It's pretty cool that my books are out there in all of the continents except Antarctica. I have not hit Antarctica yet, but it's kind of neat to think that, people around the world might be reading my books. So that's pretty cool. And I wanted to give a little shout out to Olivia and to Harrison. They asked me to give them a shout out. Thank you very much for watching.